Manchester United have drawn 2-2 away at Stamford Bridge. Now, a draw at Stamford Bridge, decent point, to be honest. Can't argue with a decent point there, but am I happy with it? No, I'm not happy with the draw at Stamford Bridge. Never happy with the draw. Only ever happy when Manchester United win, but I will accept the point. That is the difference. I will accept this point and move forward, but I'm not going to ever be happy with the draw away at home. I would have taken the draw before the start of the game, yes, but I'd never have been overly happy with that. But because I thought Manchester United were going to go into this game and get defeated today, I was never ever confident Manchester United were going to go to Stamford Bridge with a horrendous form there, that we were going to get anything other than a defeat. And I was fairly happy with the starting lineup. There was no Alexis Sanchez in the starting lineup. We see the pace from Romelu Lukaku, Martial and Rashford in the forward line, and I was fairly pleased with the midfield. The defence was, as I expected. Never want to see Ashley Young at the back. Whether people think he had a good game today or not, never want to see him at fullback. Not his fault, he's just not a fullback. Shouldn't even be playing for Manchester United at his age. Past his time, shouldn't be playing, should fuck off, to be honest. Not his fault. And I'm sorry, but just not good enough for Manchester United. I knew he would play because he doesn't want to play Valencia anymore after he liked that Instagram post about Mourinho wanting to get the sack. So people want him to get the sack. So, and Juan Mata played in the midfield today, and I thought he done a decent job. Juan Mata, Matic back in there, Luke Shaw doing all right, and getting a 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge when you're 1-0 down, then going two goals to one up with two well taken strikes from Martial. Really pleased for Martial. Maybe that does change things a bit for Martial now. A performance against the top team from him for Manchester United, even if he did come off in the second half towards the end there. Probably was harsh taking him off, considering Lukaku hadn't nowhere. Certainly first half, Lukaku was anonymous in this game. Got a bit better towards the end of the game, but was absolutely anonymous in that first half and hasn't done it in nowhere near enough in the big games. Paul Pogba at fault for the first opening goal, but it was a real kicker blow for Manchester United, conceding that late goal to Chelsea. I know there was a lot of injury time, but you've got to play to the final whistle. David De Gea pulling off a good save to try and prevent it going in, but could do nothing to stop Ross Barkley's finish in that final minute. And we've let another 2 goals in, which is very disappointing because we're letting so many fucking goals in this season. And I know I'm seeing people that are happy with this. You can't be happy with the point. You can be satisfied that we've just got the point and move on, but you can't be overly happy with this, to be honest. You've got to look at the bigger picture. I think we're 8th in the league before the other teams play today, which is not good enough for Manchester United. Really is an 8th position. Now, normally going to Stamford Bridge, you would be more than satisfied maybe with a point, but it's the fact that we've dropped so many points against the likes of fucking Brighton and losing at home to Tottenham and all this shit, drawing to Wolves, been absolutely abysmal in some of them games. Yes, there was a bit more fighting spirit to get back to 2-1, which is encouraging for Manchester United, but this, I'm not sure, that still not convinced now whether Jose Mourinho can turn the shift around at Manchester United. We have dropped points from vitally getting the 3 points here, where it could have put more pressure on our rivals in front of us, the likes of Tottenham and Arsenal, who are fighting for them Champions League spots. And this is the absolute bare minimum Manchester United should be getting. And it's dropping these points. I know it's against Chelsea, but it's because we've dropped the other points against the other teams that Manchester United needed to go here and get the victory, even though I was never ever confident that we were going to get the victory. And I'm okay with the draw, but it's the annoyance that we've let that last grasp goal in that's going to put us 2 points further behind the likes of Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, that we're going to really struggle now to get that top 4 position, even in the Premier League for Manchester United this season, unless something dramatically changes, because they're all looking a lot better than Manchester United. Certainly the likes of Arsenal are playing a lot better than Manchester United, and it does pain me that we may have to end up going through next season with no Champions League football, and even at this early stage, if you get 7, 8, 9 points behind, it does make it really difficult for Manchester United to make that back up. But there are still some positives to take. Obviously, the Martial getting that brace today was very, very important for him. Hopefully that gives him a world of confidence to go on to that game against Juventus. Hopefully Manchester United can look forward to that. But that's going to be a massive game for Manchester United to stand any chance of qualifying for the knockout stage of the Champions League. We've got to win that game, to be honest. If we don't get 3 points out of these 2 games against Juventus, we're going to be looking down the barrel at potentially going out at the group stage and that would be an absolute nightmare to finish in a Europa League spot in that group, because that would make that even harder for Manchester United to get back in the Champions League again next season. But what does everyone think on this? Are you happy with this draw? It does leave Manchester United potentially at the end of the day in the bottom half of the table, which is not good enough for me, for Manchester United. Just not good enough after this amount of games that we've played. It's not today's that's the biggest downer. It's them other games that has caused the problem of why we're having to go into big games now and get positive results and try to win these games. At least we have scored 2 goals away at Chelsea and we haven't got beaten. That is the only plus side, because I was expecting Manchester United to go into this game and lose. I mean, it would have been maybe a different feel about it for me, maybe slightly, if Manchester United had got the late equaliser, rather than if Manchester United conceding that late equaliser. It is always the kick in the nuts when you are the one that concedes it. But still, you can never be jumping for joy when a team does draw a game. I mean, Chelsea were celebrating on the touchline like they'd fucking won the league. I mean, yes, it's a draw, you've got the draw, but Jesus Christ, you're the home team and you haven't won the game against probably one of the worst starts the worst start for Manchester United in the Premier League era. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this game. Where do we go now? How can we kick on now and start looking up and getting some wins behind us? Because we have to if we stand any chance of challenging up there for even the top 4 places. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon.